Listen, you can't Google and YouTube your way to funding. Trust me, I tried it, okay? And don't get me wrong, that's a good start. There are no shortcuts. There's no magic templates. There are no get-rich-quick schemes. The absolute best way to learn about funding and how to access funding is through the actual funders. You have to cultivate relationships with the people who have or have access to the financial resources you need. There's no way around it. So how do you do that when you have no idea where the funding is, you have no idea how to access the funding, and you don't even know what funding resources are best for your business? Listen, I get it. You don't know what you don't know. The better majority of Black and brown people didn't grow up in affluent neighborhoods where money was discussed and distributed. So by default, many of us are losing in a game that we were never properly set up to win. I know that story all too well. I grew up in a poor, lower middle class, predominantly Black neighborhood on the south side of Houston, Texas called Sunnyside. Sunnyside at one point was considered the sixth most dangerous neighborhood in America. Drugs were running rampant in our community. Crime was par for the course. And for all intents and purposes, we were labeled a bad community. And it wasn't until I moved out of Sunnyside and I was able to look back at where I came from a more objective lens, right, versus subjective, I realized Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Sunnyside was an economically disenfranchised community. In many ways, we were marginalized, we were criminalized, and deliberately excluded from the process of creating wealth. The drugs, the violence, the crime in our community really had nothing to do with the people in that community. Those were just symptoms of the real problem. It had everything to do with what we were in proximity to in that community. Proximity to crack, cocaine, meth, proximity to 9mm and hollow points. Those things were easily accessible in my neighborhood. You didn't have to leave the block to find them. Imagine if instead of firearms, we had financial literacy programs, business incubators, accelerators. Instead of meth, we had mentorship programs, opportunities to maximize and monetize our natural gifts, talents, and abilities. How differently would some of our communities look if we were in proximity to venture capitalists, angel investors, business banking managers, financial professionals who not only have a vested interest in our success, but who are willing to advocate for us through their financial contributions in us? That's the power and the purpose of the Access Capital Masterclass. Our goal is to position enterprising small business owners and entrepreneurs like you for greater economic mobility and inclusion so you can enjoy more freedom, more flexibility, and more financial security. We're doing that by putting you in the room with the funders. We're removing all of those roadblocks that are keeping you from the money you need to grow and scale your business by positioning you with the financial professionals who have the resources to get you there quicker. If this is something you're ready for, keep reading.